In today's video, we're going to have a look at OneDrive, Microsoft's very own cloud system for your files and folders. And I'm going to share with you my top tips to help you get started. But before we get into all that, just a quick intro. My name is Jonathan Edwards, also known as the Bearded 365 Guy. I help businesses all over the world with their Microsoft 365. Now you can find more information at bearded365guy.com. So what is OneDrive? Well, OneDrive is Microsoft's own cloud-based system where you can store your files, folders, documents, and pictures. Now, whether you've got a Microsoft 365 personal account or a business account, you will have access to OneDrive. So in this video, I'm just going to share with you my top tips for getting started. So without further ado, let's jump in. So my first tip is to make sure that you've got the OneDrive application installed on all of your devices. Obviously, OneDrive is a cloud hosting system, but it also comes with an application called OneDrive. And you can install this on your Windows computer, your MacBook, your iPhone, or your Android. This means you can work locally on your files, and those changes will be synchronized to the cloud. Let me show you how. So OneDrive is a cloud-based system. I'm logged in now to my Microsoft 365. It's a business account. Now, to access my OneDrive in the cloud, I simply go to the waffle menu at the top here, which is the app launcher, and I choose OneDrive. That then launches my OneDrive, and if I just click onto the left here where it says My Files, you can see that these are all my folders within OneDrive. But as you can see, these are obviously in a web browser. Now, if you've got a Windows 10 or a Windows 11 computer, OneDrive will automatically be installed on that device. If you look in the bottom right-hand corner in the system tray, you can see the OneDrive icon is there, and I can click on that, and you can see here that my files are all synced. And from here, I've got some options as well. I can view these files online. Now, if I click on this, it's just going to open this page up here, which is in the cloud. Or I can open my local folder. So if I do that, and you can see here, if I just make that this size here, these completely match the files in the cloud because there's a synchronization going on. Now also, I've got an iPhone, so if you go into the App Store and search for the OneDrive icon, I've already got this installed, so I can open that, and that will take me to my OneDrive app. Now again, if I click on Files here, you'll see that this also matches the web version. So all of my devices are completely in sync. Whether I've got a computer, an iPhone, a Mac device, an Android, there are applications available to sync with your OneDrive cloud. So now on to my second tip. Are you one of those people who likes to store files on the desktop of your computer? Do you often get told by people that you shouldn't do that because if your computer crashes, you'll lose your data? Well, what happens if I told you that you could continue to store files on your desktop of your computer, but you would be completely safe because those files would be synced to OneDrive? Do you want to find out more? Let me show you. Okay, on your computer, you want to find the OneDrive icon and just left click on it. You then go to this little wrench here and go to Settings. And once you're in the settings, you've got some options down here. So I want to keep on the sync and backup. And you can see at the top, it says backup important PC folders to OneDrive. So you can back up your desktop, your documents, and your pictures straight into OneDrive. If I click on there, say manage backup, you can see that in my case, these are all switched on. So my desktop, it's switched on. I've got no data on my desktop. You might think, well, you've got these icons here, but this isn't data. These are just applications. If I had like PDFs or Word documents or pictures, then they would all get backed up. Again, my pictures folder and my documents folder is all getting backed up. Now to prove this to you, if I go to my File Explorer and I've got my OneDrive open here, you can see, look, desktop, documents and pictures. So they are all synced to OneDrive. You don't know it, so you can continue to store your documents on your desktop or in your documents if you want, and they will all be nice and safe within OneDrive. Now, we've already touched on the synchronization. You store a file on your computer and it synchronizes to the cloud. But do you want to see how this works? Let me show you. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do now is just open Microsoft Word, and I'll send this to full screen. Now I'll just put some copy in here. There we go. And then I want to go to save this. So if I go to File, Save As, you can see here, look, there's a bit of integration with OneDrive and SharePoint. So I can save this in my OneDrive. It's pointing right there. I will call this a name. I'm going to save this just at the root of my OneDrive. So click on Save. Okay, if I now click on my OneDrive icon, you can see that this OneDrive video docx has uploaded to my OneDrive. If I then look into my File Explorer again and go to my OneDrive, you can see that this file is there. Okay, so how about if we look at the web version? Okay, so open that. I'll just refresh this page, and you can see that that is available there now. Okay, so let's try this the other way around. Okay, I can go to here, and I'm going to create a Word document. I'll put some text in here. Okay, and then to save it within the web client, I click on there. I'll give it a name like that, and that will save automatically. So if I now come out of here, again, if I refresh the page, you can see that that is in there. So is that also in File Explorer? If I go back to File Explorer, and that document is there. Now, we're going to talk about these icons later on in the video, but I just wanted to show you exactly how the synchronization works. Now, with all this synchronization going on, OneDrive has some important icons which tell us the status of your synchronization. Now, it's important if you're going to be a pro OneDrive user that you understand all these icons and what they mean. So let me go through them. So firstly, there's a solid green tick. This means that the file or folder is both in the cloud and synchronized onto your local device. Even if you didn't have an internet connection, you'd still be able to see this file or folder. And then we've got a light green tick, which is fairly similar to the solid green tick. But the light green tick means that this file or folder has recently been synchronized down to your desktop computer. So again, even if you didn't have an internet connection, you'd be able to see this file. The next icon is a blue cloud. This means this file or folder is available just within the cloud version of OneDrive. If by chance you didn't have an internet connection, you wouldn't be able to access this file, but they are safely stored in the OneDrive cloud. Now, if you see an icon of like someone's head, this means that this file or folder has been shared with somewhere else. Now, the next icon is like a blue circle with arrows. This means that this file or folder is in the process of synchronizing within the cloud. Also, if you look at the blue OneDrive icon in the system tray of your computer, sometimes it might come up with a big red cross. And big red crosses usually mean trouble. This means there's a synchronization problem, and you really need to look at it to get it fixed. Okay, here's for my next tip. Imagine you've got lots and lots of data inside of the OneDrive cloud. You've got years worth of photos, files, folders, PDFs. Do you want all of that data to synchronize down to your computer? It would just use disk space up and it will clog everything up. So there's a nifty little tool within OneDrive called Selective Sync, and you can go into that and choose exactly what you want to sync. Let me show you how that works. Okay, you want to find your OneDrive icon again and left click on it. You then want to click on the settings at the top here and click on settings again. Okay, this time we've got the 4 options, but we want to be on account. Now you can see my OneDrive is here, and I've got an option here to choose the folders. Again, these will correlate to the files in my OneDrive cloud, but this time you can see there's lots of checkboxes next to it. So what we can do is we can decide which folders and which files we can drill down by using these little options here. We can drill right down. We can choose what files and folders we want to synchronize down to our computer. So we can be really selective, and that just helps to save disk space on our computer. Okay, my next tip is a fairly new feature of OneDrive. It's called color coding your folders within the OneDrive cloud. Now, this sounds a little bit gimmicky, but believe me, color coding folders is really powerful. Let me show you how that works. Okay, I'm back in my OneDrive on the web. Now you can see here I've color-coded my folders. And the reason I've done that is just so they make more sense to me. So I've got some green folders, and these are all kind of Microsoft folders, if you like. So there's some data from applications, there's email attachments, which we'll talk about later. There's different Microsoft folders. These folders I wouldn't normally store my data in. So one here, this is my OneNote notebooks. The folders that I store my data in are all color-coded something different. So I've obviously got my personal one. We've got some Microsoft Streams. I don't know if you've heard of Stream. It's a Microsoft application for recording your screen, so it's great for documentation. Check that out. I've got some videos on my channel about that. I've got a folder for work and a folder for YouTube as well. Obviously created these two earlier in the video, but I wouldn't ordinarily have documents below here. Everything would live in a folder, which leads me on to my next tip in a way. All these folders here, this is 18 years worth of work for me. So what do you notice about that? Well, you should notice that it's quite clean and tidy. When it comes to creating top-level folders, it's best to keep them to a minimum. So when it comes to top-level folders, apart from the Microsoft ones, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. That is all. And then I put data inside of these, and I color-code them so it makes it look better. To color-code a folder, when you create a folder, you go to this plus icon here, you click on new folder, you enter your name, and then you've got some colors you can choose from. So that's my tip there. But just one thing to mention about color coding, if we go to File Explorer, unfortunately, color coding doesn't apply yet. Maybe it's going to be a feature in the future. Color coding doesn't apply to folders in the OneDrive Sync, only in the web portal. Here's for my next tip. Now, sometimes we accidentally delete files or folders. Don't worry, it happens to us all. Or sometimes we might open a Word document, make changes, and realize we've made a mistake. Is there anything within OneDrive that can help us restore files or roll back to previous versions of files? Yes, there is. Let me show you. Okay, there's a couple of things that I'm going to do here. There's these two Word documents that I created earlier. So with this one here, OneDrive Test 2, I'm just going to right-click on that and I'm going to delete it, okay? That is gone, okay? The next thing I want to do with this one here is I'm going to open it and I'm going to make some changes. Okay, I've made a change. Auto saving is on. I'm just going to click on save though, and I will close that. So far what I've done, I've deleted a file and I've made changes to a file. So what can I do about this? Well, if I go to the first one first, so I go to the OneDrive icon here, I can click on Recycle Bin. That will take me to the cloud. If I was in the cloud already, just go back to here. I can simply hop back to the Recycle Bin. And you can see that the one I deleted is here. Now, this will stay in the Recycle Bin for 30 days. And after that, it will disappear here, but you've also got a second stage Recycle Bin. So how long does it stay in there? Well, that depends. There's some policies you can do at the back of Microsoft 365. But a good rule of thumb is you will get about 90 days in total from the time that you delete the file until it's gone forever out of both the first stage and the second stage. So you have got some things built in there. We always recommend that you have a third-party backup of your Microsoft 365, including OneDrive. That way you can go back 12 months. But you do have something built into the Recycle Bin. But what about the other Word document that I just amended? Okay, so let me go to find that. That one's here, so I'll launch it. Okay, here you can see is my Word document. Now, it's got the change I made there. And what I really want is to roll back to the original version. So what can I do? Well, OneDrive has something built in called version history. And if I go to File, Info, Version History, you can see the previous versions of this file. So I made that change 13 minutes ago. So this is the current version. The original file I saved 44 minutes ago. Now, if I'd have made multiple changes over many days and weeks, I get an entire list of different versions. So here I'm obviously in the online version. If I close this and I go to my desktop version of OneDrive, I can right click on this folder, I can go to OneDrive, and I can click on version history. Again, I've got these two options here. So this is the original file. I will click on restore. And then if I go back into this file now, you can see that the original document is back. Okay. If I minimize that, look at the cloud version here. That is now there. You saw that disappear again. So as you can see, you've got some decent features built right into OneDrive to help protect your data. Now, my next tip is all about sharing and collaboration. Sometimes we need to share data with our customers or our partners. Is there anything built into OneDrive that can enable us to share our files and folders securely with others? Yes, there is. Let me show you. So you can share your OneDrive data with other people inside and outside of your organization. You can do that from the desktop OneDrive app, or you can do it within the OneDrive web portal. So this is a good example. This is called YouTube. Now, for my YouTube videos, I've got an editor, I've got a thumbnail designer, I've got lots of different people who contribute to this channel. So if I wanted to share this YouTube folder, I could simply right-click on it, I could go to OneDrive, and I can click on share. And then we've got a few options here, okay? So first I need to start typing internal names, or if it's an external people, I'll need to type the email address. I can put a message in there to say, hey, I'm just sharing this folder with you. And then I've got a pencil icon here, so we can look at the permissions. So whoever I'm sharing this with, do I want them to be able to edit or just view, or can't download? So they can't download the data onto their personal OneDrive on their desktop. They can only see it in the web. I've also then got some more settings here. So share this link. At the moment, only people within my organization will be able to see the contents, okay? I can change this if I want to anyone. People I choose is another one, so that's getting more granular. So the only people who can see this are people I specifically share it with. Again, can edit, can view, can't download. And another little feature here, I can set an expiration date. So I might want to share this with someone just for the next few days. And then after that, the link dies. So I've got a load of options there. And then I can click on send, or I can simply copy the link like that. And then I can paste that link somewhere else, maybe into an email or something. So I could email the person and say, here is a link to this file or folder. Which takes me on, I can share folders. So I could share this entire folder if I wanted, all 101 gig of it, or I could simply, the same applies, I could share this file only, okay? So that is how you share and collaborate within your OneDrive. Here's my next tip. Sometimes we've got lots of this paperwork, but we might need to keep some of this. Wouldn't it be great if OneDrive could help us go paperless? Well, using another Microsoft application called Office Lens, you can go paperless with OneDrive. Do you want to know how? Let me show you. Okay, so I'm on my OneDrive for the web, and you'll notice here I've got a folder called Office Lens. So what's this? If I click into it, you'll notice I've got lots of JPEGs, I've got PDFs and things like this. Now, there's a Microsoft 365 application which is called Office Lens. Okay, you might not have heard of it, but you can download it from the App Store, and you can see I've got it here. And I'm also going to test scan a sheet of paper for you. So I'm going to open that now, and you can see on my desk, I've got a piece of paper. And if I click on capture this document, it captures the document. And then what I can do is I can confirm. I can do various bits to it. I can crop it. I can filter it. But it has just captured that document. It's not captured anything else on the desk around me or anything like that. I then click on done. And then I can export this document wherever I want. So I can give it a title. So if I just delete the default one there and call this something like that. And now I can export this scan anywhere I want. My photos, OneNote, Word, whatever. But I'm going to click on OneDrive, and then it processes. Okay. And that's it. Okay, so that is now processed. So if I now go back to my computer, I'm in Office Lens here. I refresh that page. I go down to the bottom and you can see I've got the OneDrive video JPEG. So that is scanned right into my OneDrive. So that is a handy way to go paperless. Now this is just a one piece of paper document. But if you've got multiple pages, what it will do, it will scan it as a PDF. Okay, so that is how you can go paperless using OneDrive. So here is my final tip on getting started with OneDrive. Do you sometimes receive emails with attachments and you think to yourself, that attachment might be useful later, but then you misplaced the email? Wouldn't it be great with a click of a button if you could save attachments from Outlook into OneDrive? Well, you can. Let me show you how. Okay, I'm inside my Outlook and I've got an email from myself, but it could be an email from anyone. If I launch that, you can see that this has an attachment. So how do I save this to OneDrive? Well, it's really simple. I click on the down arrow here and I click Save to OneDrive. And that comes up and tells me that it's saved it to OneDrive. But whereabouts in OneDrive? Well, let me go back to my OneDrive web portal. And there's a folder, which is a Microsoft folder called Attachments. And if I click on there, I've got all the attachments that I have saved into my OneDrive. So if I modify here by newer to older, you can see that that is now in my OneDrive. So that's a really easy way to get your attachments out of Outlook into your OneDrive. Now you might find in this attachments folder that you might want to move them somewhere else. And that's simple to do. You can simply right click, you can move to, and then you can move it wherever you want within your files. So I could go back to my files and there's all my documents and folders. So I can move this file wherever I want. So there you have it. They are my top tips to help you get started with OneDrive. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Look forward to seeing you again soon.